conferences, and academic people, including Professor Puri, earlier Gill was also associated with us. So every month we have a book discussion, a good book, and a good lecture. For the last few months, there was a gap because of Corona. And then we decided that Corona is not going to leave us early. Let us fight it out and carry on our normal activities. So we have taken up this book. In fact, this book deserves more than one lecture, one discussion, because we are talking of a man, Partap Singh Kairon, tallest of the chief ministers. And I think his competence, his go-getting attitude, this became, I think, somehow cause of jealousy among others. This is what has happened with Punjabis and others. But we can't deny that he was a great chief minister who, during his studies in California, as a student, he worked in the California fields. So he carried a dream of making Punjab a California. And to a great extent, he realized his dream in his own lifetime. He was lucky. And he was lucky because he also had a great prime minister called Jawaharlal Nehru. When they inaugurated Bhagwan Dam, they called it Temple of Modern India. And look at the new temples and the temples of Nehru's time. Anyway, I should not speak much on this. A small comment. And luckily, Mr. Lochan is listening to us. He is unable to join in the panel. That comment is about, it's an excellent book. And Dr. Gill and Bhagwan Josh have motivated me, I think. The comment was about, I have no briefs about the Akalis, but one small comment, the Akali party consisted mainly of the illiterate peasants. It pinches me somehow. The Akali party of that place, Puri Saab has worked on this. They were highly qualified people. Master Tara Singh, BABD, Khalid Singh left his law incomplete. And even the hero of this book, he was member of the Kali party, Kairon. And a man called Mangal Singh Gill, he left his BA. BA was a big thing, I believe, in those days. He left his job of a Tehsildar to start a daily newspaper called the Hindustan Times. People won't believe it. The Sikhs had the vision of starting an English newspaper, Hindustan Times, not Punjab Times, not Sikh Times, not Khalis Times. So I think general statement that generally they are illiterate peasants, somehow I think this impression should be changed. Otherwise, that's fine. Now, we welcome Madhuri Chawla, who is the moderator, and she will welcome and introduce other speakers. Dr. Veer Singh motivated us to restart the program. Luckily, he also joined. After the discussion, he announced the next month's program. Over to Dr. Madhuri Chawla. Please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahendra Singh ji. A very good afternoon to all of you who have connected with us today on this very bright Saturday afternoon for the discussion session on the book Partap Singh Kairon, A Visionary, authored by Shri Gurinder Singh Kairon ji with Mrs. Meeta Rajivlochan and Professor M. Rajivlochan. I extend a very warm welcome to our panelists for the day, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. M.S. Gill, and renowned historian Professor Bhagwan Josh, who have already joined us. Dr. Harish Puri has also joined us. Very warm welcome, sir. And Dr. Avel Singh is also here with us. The book chosen for discussion today is on the life story of Sardar Partap Singh Kairon, who is not only one of the most eminent figures of Punjab, but also one of the most powerful chief minister of India during the 50s. In the concluding chapter of the book, I'm beginning in the reverse direction it seems, but the chapter is titled The Final Word. And on page 273, the book aptly reads, in the tempestuous history of India and the even more tumultuous history of Punjab, Sardar Partap Singh Kairon played a major role in pushing Punjab forward. His vision was to rebuild Punjab and India with the same energy and verve as Europe was rebuilding itself after the destructiveness of the World War. And in fact, Kairon himself used to say that his aim was to ensure that Punjab should surpass Germany in a few years. And I'm so very happy and at the same time extremely grateful to the organizing committee for providing me this opportunity to actually know more about this stalwart who made Punjab what it is today, a truly developed state. Having been born and brought up in Punjab myself, I had heard a lot about Sardar Pratap Singh Kairon, but it wasn't until I was asked to be the moderator for this session and I got to read this very fascinating book that I fully understood the extent of his contribution to the development of Punjab. And as I went through this brilliantly written, captivating book, I was amazed to learn every big project, all major industries, educational institutions, whether it was the Punjab University, the Kurukshetra University, the PGI, the Bhakra Dam, you name it, anything and everything I could think of was established during his time. The book is a befitting tribute to the resolute stalwart, and it gives us a comprehensive insight into the making of this undefeatable and indefatigable man. It has 12 chapters and it begins with the formative years and then it takes us through his journey till his unfortunate tragic assassination in 1965. And it tells us that radicalism, progressiveness, and breaking the stereotypes actually ran in his blood, as both his parents were actively involved in a social reform movement. The book then traces his education in the US, his interaction with Gaddarites, and the impact Gandhi, Lenin, and Marx, Saint Marx as he would call him, had on him, and how it provided him a perspective to understand the world. Though each of the chapter throws light on specific aspects of his persona, I found specifically chapter 7 and chapter 9. They are titled Taking Steps Towards Making Punjab a Model State, and chapter 9 reads India's Strongest Chief Minister. These two chapters are found to be extremely important in understanding the contribution of Kairon Sahib to Punjab. A man truly ahead of his time, he was not only keen on providing effective and efficient administration as the chief minister, he was also genuinely concerned about the dignity and empowerment of the weaker sections of women, worked for women empowerment, for their education, believed in simple living, and about the furtherance of communal harmony. Despite pressures and challenges from opponents, as well as his own partymen, he never bowed down. He always kept his cool. And he went on with his agenda of modernizing Punjab. He always kept his focus clear. That was his one point program. And the Times of India, when he had gone to Mumbai, and I read here on page 202, very aptly stated, he faced so much opposition. So I read here what Times of India says. The frail 60-year-old politician has weathered many a storm, but crises never worry him, and he emerges with fresh vigor from them. That speaks volumes for this stalwart, an amazing man really, and I'm so overwhelmed by the facts presented in such a lucid manner in this book that I could continue on and on the contribution of Kairon Sahib. But I will have to restrain myself as all of you have joined us to listen to our eminent panelists. We were hoping that the writers of the book would also join us, but it seems that they have been tied up. And
They are
before
listening to us. They are listening to us.
okay, so we are very grateful to them for having at least joined us on the YouTube.
They are.
And yeah, being there with us and providing us all the moral support for this program. And an important message for all the viewers, you can type your questions in the comment section. which will be responded to afterwards at the end of the program by the panelists. And I'll move on to the panelists now. It is really a privilege to have with us Padma Vibhushan Dr. M.S. Gill to enlighten us on the book and on Sardar Pratap Singh Kairon. Dr. Gill, of course, needs no introduction. We all know that after having served as the Deputy Commissioner, then the Principal Secretary, Government of Punjab, and Secretary, Government of India, Dr. Gill proved his mettle as the Chief Election Commissioner of India. It was during his tenure as CEC that the electronic voting machines were introduced in India. What makes him even more admirable is the fact that despite his busy life in civil services, he has remained connected with academics, and his writings are widely respected in the academic world. I now request Dr. Gill to enlighten us with his special knowledge on today's topic, the book as well as the individual himself. So though we would love to listen to you for as long as you are willing to enlighten us, but we have our limitations, and I have this very unpleasant task of reminding you that due to paucity of time, we would have to stick to a 20-minute time frame. I hand it over to you, sir, now.
Thank you, BBG. It's a pleasure to join you on talking of Partap Singh Kairon. In fact, in the book, at the back of the book, Rajiv has written that I pushed him to write the book. I did. I tried for many, many years, even in Cambridge University, with which I have a lot of link, to get some man to write. For example, Talbot wrote on Khizar Hayat Tiwana, the chief minister, last chief minister in the joint Punjab. And I thought if somebody could do it, but it never happened. And I'm delighted, and I compliment Rajiv for not only writing, but writing a fine book. And by the way, his wife equally. I think she has a role in it as much. And, we have to be careful that we don't push ourselves forward. So Rajiv has to watch it. She is a very senior officer, IAS from Maharashtra and now in Delhi. I'm delighted to be talking on this. My village is a kilometer from Tarn Taran on the road to Kairon. And Kairon is 7-8 miles away. My uncle, since they were all local people, local politics, was associated with him. And they fought his elections. That first one where he was an Akali candidate, they fought for it. And I came into the IAS in 58, and 59 I joined the Punjab because I was allotted the Punjab due to my merit. So I was there when Kairon was chief minister from 59 to 64 when he was shot. And he had resigned, and then 65 he was shot. So I have seen him in action. And I also have a feel, Minder Singh was talking of Jats. Kairon and me are solid Jats. No doubt about it.
Two categories,
huh? We have all the failings and some qualities of the Jats. Let's put it that way. Kairon also had them. Let me say so, as one of them. And therefore, I have the feel of the man. Both because you talked of Gurinder. The book is number 1 written by Rajivlochan, number 2 his wife, and number 3 Gurinder. Not the other way around. Please be clear. He's listening to me. I hope he doesn't mind.
He's listening. It's okay.
Yeah. Because they have done a lot of work, and he has assisted them with the family papers and things like that. I even talked to Kairon's daughter. She's older than Gurinder, Sarbarinder Kaur. And after 25 years, I talked to her and we were delighted. So they have assisted. So I saw him for 6 years in action, and then Kairon was shot, but Kairoism and what he had done lived on. Even today, whatever the Punjab is, and whatever the Punjab chief ministers, unlimited numbers of them have done afterwards, they've all tried to hold on to what Kairon did, or they've tried to emulate him or try to even beat him. I have been chief election commissioner, and I can say Lalu Yadav I know well, all of them I know. I don't have to name each one because that was my job. And I was there 6, 8 years in the election commission. And I could see that they were all trying to emulate Kairon and better him. I would put it this way, most of the chief ministers after him, Lakshman Singh Gill, etc., all of them, Bansilal, it doesn't matter if Haryana was created, we were all of the same lot. And Kairon had done what he had done all the way to Faridabad. Faridabad is his creation. At that visionary time, he said, let me start a city next to Delhi. And they all tried to copy him, like the elephant and the 4 or 5 blind men, and one holds a tongue, one holds pooch, one holds a thing. I think I have always seen it that way, but they haven't been able to better him. They haven't been able to better him. It's tragic that he was shot, and that was a political murder. I'm glad Rajivlochan has put it down. We were there at that time, and it was a political murder. Very much the Congress was involved, state as well as Delhi. Leave it at that, as he's left it. And the day he shot, just outside Delhi, he was coming back after meeting Shastri. He had been removed. You see, the moment Nehru died in May, Kairon went because Nehru stood like a pillar with him. He realized his value. Others did not. And the Punjab, like Tokri de Daddu, you see, Punjab also has, unfortunately, a balance between urban people who are all Hindus and rural who are all Jats, whatever they be. And the politics is always like this, has been and continues. And in that, they went for Kairon. They went for Kairon. Again, Rajivlochan brings it out. And I told Rajiv openly and bluntly, I said, Rajiv, are you a Punjabi? He said, no, sir, I am not. I said, no wonder you brought all this out and you have openly and fairly looked at things as they happened. And they all went for him. Jagat Narayan, I'm DC Jalandhar in 67. I know Jagat Narayan. I know his son Ramesh. I know Gurinder used to live next to me as DC. And Prabodh Chandra, the Speaker of Punjab, Gurdaspur. And they had a group and they could not accept Kairon, as simple as that. And Kairon also was a stubborn Jat, that's why I said that Jat.
Stubborn Jat.
And so it was a bitter fight. And ultimately, even the murder is out of all that bitterness that was created and promoted and spread. The 61 census, we should not hesitate to talk of it today after so long. 61 census, Lala Jagat Rai Hind Samachar was the most popular paper. I read Urdu. And he promoted very strongly that everyone, even in Amritsar, मैं Amritsar da, and in Amritsar also, in Tarntaran also, if you're a Hindu, you should put down Hindi as my mother tongue. So it carried on. I would also have to say today that post Kairon's death, while it took him with it, but the bitter fight carried on, as we know, decade after decade, 84, beyond. And ultimately, it led to what had to be done. Kairon had held it, and Ramkishan, he was my chief minister, fine man, decent man, but not an executive. No. Ramkishan was a byword for a joke of an executive in the Punjab, everybody. But otherwise, he was a nice man. I remember him with some affection. And so the moment Kairon went, the regional committees, Punjabi and Hindi, were converted into Haryana and Punjab roughly. The boundary was done whichever way, that was also politics. It happened, but basically they are the regional parties. So Kairon struggled in those 8 years against every kind of opposition. Now, then I look at the man. We have not been able to replicate him in India. I find that the man has done an economics MA in Berkeley. I've been to Berkeley, I've been to American University. I have a link with universities in the West, Cambridge very much. And an MA economics of Berkeley, how many fellows here who are MAs and IAS and this and that and claiming to be MAs, how would they know how much? Sorry. Then he goes down to Chicago and he does an MA in political science. Both these are the bluest of the blue American universities. Everybody knows it. Then he goes and his brother, Jaswant Singh, and he goes to Detroit, where there was a Ford factory, and he labors in it. Earlier, he had picked fruits in California. So he had total American experience. And he brought that, what Mahendra Singh says, he wanted to make California. Yes, I've heard it personally. He used to say it always, "Main California bana dunga." He brought the grapes. Where did the grapes come from? Dr. Pansare from Maharashtra. And he brought a load of cuttings from America, from California. And he started it, but his work could not be carried on by others. And we never got grapes in Punjab. And I am Agriculture Secretary of India. Maharashtra is nothing but grapes. Bangalore is nothing but grapes, wine, Grover wine, this wine, that wine. And the Punjab lost it. They wouldn't have lost it if Kairon was there. So he was that kind of a man. Now, where do you get such a combination as a chief executive or a minister in Delhi or in the states? Any state. Look around you today. Any state. I won't say more. So he did that. And then we only talk of him as chief minister. 46, he was a minister. He was development minister. All the Jats who were pushed out of their land, we lost 6 million acres of the finest land. 12 ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੀ, Sargodha, Montgomery, Multan, Sarian. I've been there even now. And all that golden land and that water the British brought, we lost it. We developed it from about 20 to 47, and then we were pushed out and we lost it. And on this side, we got half that land, which was Reta. I am a government college, Ludhiana, 6-year student. And when I used to go in bus to Chandigarh, left and right, Morinda and all is Tibbe. Those were all leveled and tube wells, what the Sikhs have done, the refugees who came. He settled them. And of course, M.S. Randhawa with him. M.S. Randhawa was the civil servant. I know because my own people who came from Montgomery, Sargodha, they were given lands here and there. So Kairon did that. So we cannot forget him. Then the greatest thing he did in my eyes as a civil servant and an administrator is a consolidation of land holdings in Punjab.
Right. Yes.
The British, Lord Curzon, I've written a book of 600 pages in Cambridge on this business of Punjab and cooperatives. 1912, the Cooperative Act was passed. And the British from 12 to 47 tried voluntarily. Being outsiders and imperialists, they could not force consolidation. So even if one man in the village said, "Ki main nahi karna," it never happened. And therefore it never happened because that's what the Jat will do. So it's all there in my book, An Indian Success Story, Agriculture and Cooperatives in the Punjab. And immediately after independence, now this is Kairon's Western mind and understanding. They passed in 51 or 2 the compulsory consolidation of land holdings. And then I've seen for 6 years, my first posting as IAS after training, Kairon put me in Jalandhar to hear appeals of Jats after the land had been consolidated, repartitioned, and those who had been treated unfairly and cheated by patwaris or tehsildars or whoever. I used to hear appeals as a young boy, sitting at Kartarpur on the road to Amritsar. in a small little 2-room rest house. And my heart cried because je jat di zameen kholo and then repartition it and give him bloody dry land and take away his tube well land, tube well the Hani see, but wells. He's ruined. But Kairon supervised that day by day. And I today have to salute a man called Sampuran Singh, PCS, Gurdaspur. He is the elder brother of Gyan Singh Kalo, ICS, Angrez. Good man, but oh, bada saab si. And he had been made ICS by the British. He was my chief secretary. But Sampuran Singh was a man of gold, like Kairon. And he did, and can you imagine, every week figures would go to Kairon. So many thousand acres, so many villages taken up for consolidation, so many collected after evaluation, so many repartitioned, so many this, so many that. And they used to go over it week by week. Which chief minister does it today, by the way, anywhere in India? Tell me, I am a civil servant. So I can never forget Kairon and Sampuran Singh on this consolidation. Then a thing which nobody talks of, the rivers of Punjab, when the rains came, they spread for miles and miles and miles all over the land. Villages were swallowed up. And of course, they left some silt, good silt. But what did Kairon do? This is an American man. He was an American. Yes, once in a meeting, Puri Sahib hasso na, it's such a. Once in a meeting, he used to talk Punjabi only. But one day somebody said something and he said, I can't agree to. मैं कहे थे अमेरिका आ गया. You all know America. That was never left. He knew it all. Hanji. And Kairon, what did he do? He suddenly thought of it. Bhakhda, yes, you talked of. Bhakhda was built. He was the supervisor. He was the pusher. He was the man to back the irrigation engineers. Today they've disappeared in Punjab, divided up. So the rivers are with Himachal or with somebody else. And we only have the canals to give to Rajasthan or somebody. All the water that we had, not have. Remember that. And what did Kairon do? From Nangal up to Firozpur, when it leaves India and Punjab and goes into Pakistan. And I've been to the other side, to Pakpatan, to have a look at it, as well as have a look at Baba Farid. Hanji, Shakarganj. So what did he do? There was a great man called Dr. Uppal, irrigation engineer. Nobody has heard of him now. And Uppal gave him the idea, and between the two of them, they canalized the Satluj. Band marya, either we. So the Satluj will remain only in there. First of all, the Bhakhda will stop some of the water. Even then in the floods, they have to let out a lot of water. It will go in a vast canal, and lakhs of acres of best land in Punjab was saved. And that was allotted out. Of course, I have to say today that the politicians and IAS and IPS and others also took a good share of it. But the fact is, he added to the cultivable land of Punjab. You can see it today. There is a road on that if you like to go on that, all the way from Ropar down towards Firozpur. Now, who would have thought of it? Kairon thought of it. Chandigarh. Now, Chandigarh, we keep on talking of Corbusier, and I admire him. And we say Nehru picked him or whatever, fine. And Nehru used to come. Nehru laid the foundation. And I have heard Nehru in Chandigarh. He would give us a bhashan. He loved giving bhashans. And it was fun to hear him. Not like the bhashans of today of prime ministers. His was, more affable, let's say. But Kairon, Chandigarh would have gone on stumbling along because Corbusier couldn't push that. Administration was Punjab, our engineers, our secretaries. I have seen it, sir. None of you will believe me that for 4 or 5 years when I was there, as soon as summer came, Simla was ours. Later we lost it and gave it away to Himachal. Simla, and the governor had a house there, and there were lots of houses. And all the secretaries would get into cars and go there and take one good kothi each and go walking in tweed coats on the Mall route. Not much work they were doing, these IAS fellows. I can say that. And they stayed there the 4 or 5 months of the summer. And the files, imagine, partitioned Punjab, ruined Punjab. They were spending money to send cars more and more after them. This is car taking Narang Saab's files. This is car taking Vora Saab's file. NN Vora's elder brother, my secretary. This is even the English viceroy didn't do it, but this was going on. And who stopped it? Kairon. One day he said, stop it, come downhill and take these barracks next to the PGI, Jidi Bandarasi, which he made, very much made. And he brought Dr. Tulsidas, Santokh Singh, and all those great doctors from Amritsar. And he put away the IAS and said, they will get the money they want. They will take the decisions they want. It wouldn't happen. It doesn't happen today even. Whatever anybody says, it doesn't happen. And initially the secretariat was all in barracks. I went into the secretariat, the one we have today, only when it was inaugurated and given to us. Kairon. And Chandigarh got a massive push. You sit on the place and then make your city. You can't order from somewhere in Simla. Banega. This was the IAS and the ICS. Let us not. So that is, I give Kairon this credit. Then I've seen him as an SDM and all that. He used to come around to villages and go village to village. He is the first chief minister in India. I saw Sachar also, by the way. I was a little boy. I was in college when he was chief minister and Bhargav was, and they were fighting and changing off and on for some years till Nehru removed them and somehow brought in Kairon. And I saw Sachar once, I don't know where in Jalandhar. We were two little boys. And what did Sachar look like? Polished, achkan, starched, topi like a boat. And his black shoes, pumps, were like Englishmen wear at night when they go dancing. Where was he going to go to a village ever? You're talking of Jats, unless the Jats get a chief minister who knows something of the village and wants to go there. Nobody goes there. And Kairon started this. What did Kairon do? I have seen him. First of all, he would go village to village. In my training, I was in Patiala. And summer, June, me and Meera Seth, my colleague, she retired from Haryana and Delhi, and we were there under training. So Kairon came and he spent 2 days. And at the time, Pepsu was still Pepsu. Maharaja time. Koi sadak nahi thi, no road, no link, no nothing. And nobody had ever been to the villages. So in the morning, he took off at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. There were 20 cars after him. Naturally, we got status number 20. The two training, yes, katta, bura haal ho gaya. You know, we were. And what would we do? He would rush to a village. They had put up a little sholdari, in that June at 11, 12. And 2 chairs, he would sit on it, in the DC there. And people would sit in the sun. June the mahina, Jetha. They would sit there and he would talk to them. And I can never forget what he said to them. It's written here. What did he say? He was so clever. Khachra Jatsi, oh Khachra Jatsi. Like Ranjit Singh. Yes, yes. You can only be a ruler if you are Khachra. Ranjit Singh was, he was. There's no doubt. He controlled all his MLAs and all. And what does he say to them? Oye, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸਮਤਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਜੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੇਠ ਹਾੜਨੀਆਂ ਧੁੱਪਾਂ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਜੇ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਜੇ ਸਮਝ ਆਈ ਜੇਠ ਹਾੜਨੀਆਂ ਧੁੱਪਾਂ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਜੇ bloody 50 degrees ਐਂਡ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੈਰਾਂ ਭਾਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਜੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੱਪੜ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਕੱਟੇ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਸੀ। ਇਹ ਤਾਕਤ ਦੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਹੈ। I have never forgotten this. And then we went village to village, village to village, village to village. After bloody 10, 15 villages, we came back. Next morning again. There was nobody who ever did it before him. I described such a, and I don't mean him ill. He was a gentleman, fine man. But NEC or the Vastaro, NEC. And Kairon started this. And all this business of Lakshman Singh and Lalu Yadav and others, Bansi Lal going to villages and all, is all to try and beat him, all to beat him. And he had diabetes. I have seen him in Mahendragarh, pure desert in Haryana. He gave me the first SDM of Mahendragarh. Rate, no bijli, no pani. I used to go to a Mata Din, the tubewell the hai nahi si, ਖੂਹ ਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਮੈਂ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, and he came there to do the Independence Day. He always came to backward places to lift them. And at lunchtime, I saw in the circuit house, he suddenly, diabetes, that time, tikas were very big. So he suddenly took out his tika, filled it up and bang. And all of us are watching, 20 officers. With this condition, he went to Lahore Spiti. I am the Deputy Commissioner of Lahore Spiti in 62, 61, Chinese War. And I went there. I had done mountaineering with Tenzing. So I went on my own interest. And he, before me, he went there, Lahore Spiti. One day he said, I'm going to Lahore Spiti to look after the tribals. To look after the tribals. Tribals, tell me. Tribals, I can talk later also. Tribals. And what did he do? He told Mangat Rai, the Chief Secretary, he told all his secretaries, S.S. Garewal, who later became Chief Secretary, Sarla Garewal, Rajiv's secretary later, and all those people. And he said, you're all coming with me. And they had to walk over the Rohtang. And they died of the bloody thing. And he took them on the Lahore side. Utte tambu lage rahe, and he had a meeting. Then he went to Spiti even, had a meeting. Diabetic man, much older than us. And he made another rule, Lahore Spiti rule, in order to develop the border areas. I wish he was around later for India, all the rest of the borders. I've been to the Andamans. Nobody ever went there. I was the first man to go there. No officer, minister, no question. Only now you can go very easily, maybe if you go. And he said in the meeting, Finance Secretary Basul and Nazi, they are all sitting there, Chief Secretary, PWD Secretary, and he had started Lahore Spiti as a district after the 58 Chinese killing of 10 Indian CRP men. That is where our trouble started with China. Kangra was one district from Pathankot to the Tibet border. Does it make sense? This was the British district. He chopped it and made Lahore Spiti a district. 20,000 square miles, as I've written, 20,000 people, but 20,000 square miles, hundreds of glaciers. So that he put a DC there and SDM in Spiti and SDM in Lahore and other officers. It belongs to us, and I was there in the 62 fighting. Now, this was the kind of man. He knew how to look after the corners of India, as I've written in my book on Lahore Spiti. I bring in Cairo every time into my writing if I can. And I wrote there, I said, if Cairo had not been shot that day and Shastri was going to take him there, he might have been India's home minister. He would have given the border areas of India, all of them, a new deal. And the model was there. In the secretariat in Chandigarh, we have a immediate slip, ordinary slip, and most immediate slip. He created a new one. Lahore Spiti affair slips, slip. Whichever thing is to deal with Lahore Spiti, they want some money, this, that, whatever. Once a slip is put on it, you can't bloody hold it even in your hand. You would be punished for it. No delay. Give them what they want. And in the meeting, famous meeting in Lahore going on, and he's presiding. And the Deputy Commissioner Vaishnav is dead now. He was Chief Secretary Punjab. Fine man. He was the first, I was the second. And they asked for all sorts of things, these young boys. And the secretary said, no, sir, this can't be done. Finance secretary said, sir, this is not anywhere in any scheme. And PWD said, no, 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 no. And Kairon turned on Basoor. Basoor, Sikh gentleman, was the finance secretary. He said, Basoor, tu aa gand khol de paise na. और इस मीटिंग च जो भी फैसले होंगे, they are फैसलास of Punjab government. Nobody in Chandigarh Secretariat can examine them again. Nobody. Can you imagine this today? Our dear Prime Minister has lots of energetic pushes. I wish he would study Kairon a little bit. But I know it because I am older. That's about all. And Gurinder, I discovered, is my age. We are practically happy birthdays, common birthdays. So I think I should stop now and you should carry on, and then something.
Thank you.
Ask me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, but somewhere one should stop.
बहुत अच्छा.
Yes, Madhuri.
There is Madhuri.
Yes. And there is the next speaker.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I wish we could continue with this for much longer. First of all, sir, my personal thanks to you for having pushed Professor Rajivlochan to write this book. And I'm sure there would be so many others and those in the generations to come who would be really thankful for this book, because it has given us so much about this man who Dr. Mahendra Singh ji has also described as a go-getter and, as you said, a bitter fighter to the end. And you have really been privileged to have worked with him for some time. That's really commendable. And you brought forth so many points, some from the book which are there, others which come from your own personal experience. And as you said, it is really remarkable how most CMs after him, as you pointed out, have tried to emulate Kairon, and many of them wanting to better him. But unfortunately, I think they stood no chance of competing with this stalwart, the towering figure that he was, as you pointed out. And you have rightly said that the book fairly brings out fully and fairly the facts pertaining to his life and how he handled the language agitation and several other agitations that happened during his time, and how he also fought tooth and nail to retain Punjab, the division of Punjab rather, as a one single state rather than it being divided as it happened after his death. So you also pointed out about his dynamism, how he was influenced by the Western philosophy, Western ideology, and he brought grapes to India, but it is unfortunate that his work in many areas could not be carried out in Punjab, which also you have pointed out in your speech. And his good work in settling the refugees, his work in consolidation of the land, the massive push he gave to the development of Chandigarh, and the juicy things that you narrated along with, which came from your own experience, were really interesting. How he stopped the movement of files, etc. And it is amazing how he's a man of the people, down to earth, who would visit the rural areas in person all the time, And I think the book also goes on to tell us how his doctor advised him not to go. And that's when he started taking a doctor when he would travel, because his health did not permit him to move around so much. But he could not keep himself from traveling and meeting the people in person. And it is really unfortunate that we lost him. And the border areas, as you said, you would have actually gained a lot had he continued to be with us. And so towards the end, I would say I love the little bit of Punjabi that you peppered your talk with. That really made it really juicy and more interesting, and it gave us the flavor of Punjab. Thank you, sir, for this very scintillating and informing talk. Your depth of understanding and the ability to present it so well made it really an invigorating session with you. Thanks for making this discussion so very interesting and rewarding, sir.
Thank you.
Now, as we know, we are discussing a book on one of the most important figures of modern India. And who would be a better person to guide us through than a renowned professor of modern Indian history? I take this opportunity to thank Professor Bhagwan from the Center for Historical Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, for accepting our invitation to enlighten us. Professor Josh is a highly respected scholar on modern India, and listening to him will certainly be an enriching experience. Again, sir, I would request that paucity of time is our constraint, and my unfortunate duty to mention this every time. I hand it over to you, sir, now, Professor Josh.
Please, when 1 minute is left, you just raise your fingers so that I might be able to sum up.
I wish I didn't have to do this.
It's okay. Yeah, it's true that we were living very fascinating and juicy stories, as has been mentioned by Madhuri, or it has been said by a famous dramatist of Africa, that we live in stories, we live by stories. And Gill Saab's entire summing up of his interaction and his perception of a man whom he watched very closely in the form of such juicy story was so fascinating that I find now to shift from this kind of stories to an academic discussion of Partap Singh Kairon is slightly probably boring for myself, and it may be boring a bit for others. But nonetheless, I can only do this much because I'm looking at Sardar Partap Singh Kairon from a distance. When I was in school, a poet came to my school for the first time and he narrated a poem, which I remember always. He said, "Pakhada dam kade na banda je Kairon sarkar na hundi." And that line stuck in my mind. And when I was reading this book, this line was coming to my mind again and again. The line itself has become a story, and today Gill Saab built on that story a vast network of stories and fascinating experiences of his life as well as Kairon's life. So, pardon me if I drag you into a more banal and slightly boring discourse, but this we do. This is the job of historians, not to entertain you so much, but to push the things towards more analytical perspectives from a distance. The authors of this book, they have written a fabulous book, and I will agree with Gill Saab that all those people who are interested in the contemporary politics and history of Punjab should read this book. And this book gives us a very clear and precise picture who Kairon was, what was his vision of progress of Punjab, and how he sought to realize that vision in the face of all odds. And all those odds were mentioned by Gill Saab very clearly. The 280-pager divided into 12 chapters comprehensively cover the various facets of Kairon's personality, and they skillfully weave into a text and create a fascinating story which has the sensibility of a detective knowledge. You read one chapter and you feel like reading the next chapter. Also, this book is more than a biography of one individual. This is a biography of political actors in Punjab. This is also a biography of political parties in Punjab. And I am sure, and I agree with Madhuri, that it will inspire a large number of other people whose biographies in Punjab are waiting to be written. Let's not forget, Punjab of that time was bigger than Germany. And a man like Kairon, who dominated the political arena of that time, was somebody really great. But many of us who now later on are looking into history never looked in that way. Our view at the contemporary period when I was a young radical was very, very different. Now there's another man in Punjab whom Gill Sahab tacitly referred, but actually not really went into the detail because of the paucity of time. His name is M.S. Randhawa, a man who was also central to the idea of consolidation, of settling the refugees, of creating aesthetic, beautiful things in Punjab. Without that man, bringing into the story probably does not complete the story of modern Punjab completely. He is waiting, his biography is waiting to be written, and I hope somebody who is really competent and deeply interested in him will be able to write the story. Today's Punjab is teeming with politicians without any sense of long-term developmental vision, and therefore remembering Kairon and his wisdom and patience by the authors at this moment in history is to remind the Punjabis that once upon a time, there was a man who was committed to the people of Punjab, and he wanted to change their destiny, whether they understood it or not, who worked very hard for them, and against all odds, though everybody tried to pull him down, but he stood there like a rock and continued to pursue his own path without wavering one way or another. And today's Punjabis need to go through this biography just to see that how much the history has changed. Gill Sahab talked about the present and the past. And I think it's very important, the disjunction which has taken place in terms of personalities and in terms of policy and politics in order to understand what Punjab has become, and as Gill Sahab was pointing, what Punjab could have been. So this is very important to read this biography from that point of view, and I hope the young people in Punjab will read this biography. Now, the authors start by giving us a very complex picture of colonial Punjab, where there was a lot of contest going on between political parties, politicians, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims. And within that background of contestatory politics, Kairon was there in 1938, and he was, as rightly pointed out, he was a Akali. And he was not only Akali, it's a very important thing which must be mentioned, and Gill Sahab somehow forgot that he, in the election of 1937, Kairon fought on Akali ticket and he defeated Gurditt Singh Kamagata, who fought on Congress ticket. And mind you, on one side was young Kairon, on the other side, Gurditt Singh Kamagata and Jawaharlal Nehru personally came to Punjab to campaign for him.
That's true.
And yet he lost. That was the magnetic personality of a young man and his capacity to be able to stand up big people in that sense. And I think it is then that Sardar Jawaharlal Nehru was impressed by him, not later on. He could see this young man, that here is the real potential. Though he was supporting the other candidate, but Nehru, this is what makes people great. They are able to see good qualities in others, even when they are not their supporters. So, by 1940, we see that Kairon was being appreciated by both, by the congressmen as well as by the Akalis, and he joined the Indian National Congress. He participated in Quit India movement. He was sent to jail and he suffered imprisonment. And the period between 1948 after independence and 1956 was a period of quick turnover of chief ministers in Punjab. One chief minister will come, the other will dislodge him. Bhargava come, Sachar group, another will gang up, they will dislodge him. Bhimsen Sachar will come, others will come dislodge him. The central leadership was very bewildered. What's happening? Nobody is able to create a stable polity, a stable administration in a state which was partitioned and gone through so much suffering and turmoil. So it was for them an issue of great concern. And Congress was ridden with factions. It's not today that Congress faction. The history of the Congress is the history of factions, the history of central leadership intervention into the provinces, provincial politicians fighting for power with each other. This has been the model of the Congress from 1947 onward. So what is happening in Rajasthan is absolutely not new at all. There were 4 factions in Punjab. There are Gopi Chand Bhargav faction, Bhimsen Sachar faction, Shri Ram Sharma faction, Lala Jagtan Narayan, and of course, Kairon there trying to be equidistant from everybody and not joining any factional politics. And when others was doing factional politics, as Gill Saab pointed out, he was touring the villages. I have heard stories of his visiting my village. All the Jats of my village, they stood outside on the road waiting Garland and others that Kairon Saab aa raha hai, unhu welcome karna, kya sade pind di kismat hai. Kairon Saab came, he didn't stop his car where Jat Panchayat was standing. He went straight to the Dalit Mahalla, asked them, Mundio manja le aao, te pani piyao. He sat there and that they were totally imagined. They were flabbergasted. Nobody has imagined that a politician of that caliber would come and visit and talk to us. And later on, Kairon talked to the Jats, and Jats were a bit annoyed. Sir, you really humiliated us. You went to the Dalits and we were waiting for you with the truckload of garlands which we wanted to. He said, these people have lived for centuries without dignity. My job, first of all, to give them the dignity. You are dignified people. You got lands. You got everything. What have they got? They have got nothing. And this is where his Americanism comes in. To treat human beings as human beings with dignity. And that is very crucial. That was Kairon for me in retrospect. I have not seen him. I have not lived during his times, but I've heard stories about the man. Some people listen stories when they live with somebody. Some people live stories later on. And those stories become myths about those human beings and project them as larger than life. So in my vision, Kairon is larger than life in that kind of situation. So let me not get diverted. And ultimately, the central leadership realized that if anybody can stabilize in Punjab, it will have to be a Jat and it has to be a Sikh. Otherwise, Akalis will not allow anybody to rule Punjab. Not only Akalis, these Bhargavas, Sachars, yes, they will pull him down. So we need somebody who's really, really solid and who's able not only to take tough decisions, as Gill Saab was saying, but also implement those decisions with certain degree of toughness and without worrying about power. And Kairon understood this point, that if he has to be tough with all these factions, sidelight them, and make the so-called democratic rule in Punjab as the Kairon Raj, then I must go to the people. And he went to the people again and again. Every time there was an opportunity, he will go to the villages, tour them, talk to them, educate them, and tell them, look, we have to carry Punjab. Don't listen to these people. They will pull down Punjab and this thing. We will not be able to do it. So by 1955, as you said, from the very beginning in 1947-48, Akalis have begun to talk of a Punjabi Suba. They have and talked. And in 1955, when reorganization of provinces on linguistic basis came, and there was a discussion in Punjab, the Akalis began to raise once again the idea of the Punjabi Suba. And they say, Punjabi is a language of the Sikhs. That's why the Hindus oppose it. Therefore, it will not flourish in a huge province like this. It will flourish only if there is a Punjabi Suba made and they put forward the demand. And one side, when moment the Akalis raised the idea of their demand, the Hindu politicians, the Arya Samaj, the Jan Sangh, Save Hindi movement, they all came together and they started a huge agitation in Punjab. And Kairon was faced with a very tough agitation in that thing. They came to the secretariat, they tried to grow it, there was a lathi charge, there were hartals through Punjab, traders were on strike, even the rickshaw pullers were on strike. At one place, even the employees of telephone company, they went on strike. And at that time, Mrs. Kairon said, I will go to there and I will act as a telephone agent. I will manage all this kind of thing. So this was the kind of thing which was going on in Punjab at that time. And therefore, the central leadership was always worried how to solve this tangle of language in Punjab. Because I don't want to go into history. If you look at the 19th century, the kind of cultural context which took place in Punjab between various literary and cultural organizations, there were various kind of politics in Punjab, and Punjabi language came to be associated with the Sikhs and Hindi came to be associated with the Hindus, as he said, and there was a very clear divide between the rural and urban, and the entire unionist politics was based on it. That itself is a fascinating story towards the end of the 19th century, but that is only the background of our story, and I will not like to be going to this kind of situation. Now, once these people started, Ali started on one side, the Hindu politicians started on the other side, and then people thought that Kairon will not be able to survive this. They will pull him down because both of them have started mobilizing the people on both sides in that sense. But Kairon remained tough and he used the familiar methods which the British have always used, what we call the stick and carrot method. He started dangling carrot in front of the Kali politicians, and lo and behold, Gyani Kartar Singh, he came and joined his cabinet. Radewala joined his cabinet and all this thing. And first Master Tara Singh thought that these Akalis will act his Trojan horses in Kairon's government. The opposite began to happen. They start supporting Kairon within the Akalis in that sense. And that created a very difficult situation in that sense. But then Kairon realized it, that the newspapers in Punjab are basically carry on communal propaganda. They whip up the emotions of the ordinary people. And therefore, he said, first, have a pre-censorship on the newspapers. And he threatened them that if you do this kind of thing, these newspapers will be closed. And he did try to close one newspaper, and he was firm in that sense. And both the sides then begin to realize that he is a different politician. He's not he's not one of us. He is different. And that realization on the part of various factions in Punjab was very crucial to understand the Punjab politics and the contribution of the man about whom we are now talking in that sense. But then Nehru was always proud of him, as Gill Sahib said. He supported him to the hilt. People accused him of corruption, nepotism, high-handedness. And some people said, look, there's no democracy. There's no collective decision in the cabinet. One man takes a decision and then he asks everybody to sign on it. This is not the way to function it. They went to the Nehru, they went to Maulana Azad, they went to Pant, they went to the central leadership, complained to everybody. But then Nehru never listened to anybody. He said, no, Partap Singh Kairon is not a corrupt man. This is the only people who are interested in politics and interested in pulling him down. They are concocting all these stories, and I'm not willing to listen to these stories. He remained firm in his opinion that only he can handle the Punjab politics. And then when Chou En-lai came to India, Nehru decided that he should be taken to Punjab. And Gill Sahib talked about this also. I will refer to it a bit. And he was taken to Bhakra Nangal to show, and the governor organized a lunch for him. Speeches were made. And people were wondering, how will Kairon speak in all this? Because Punjab, he has been speaking very rustic Punjabi with them. They have never heard the man. The man got up and he delivered, as Gill Sahib was in American English, an impeccable speech in English, and everybody was stunned. And in Punjab, Gill Sahib know, and I know it, if you can speak good English, you can get away with murder. Punjabis, they are so impressed by this colonial masters. They saying speaking English language is great, but if you can speak with the accent, either American or British, then you are a great man in that sense. So suddenly the image of Partap Singh Kairon became totally different in the eyes of those Hindi walas and Punjabi walas. You know, he distinguished himself completely in this kind of situation. So by 1957, he became the undisputed leader of Punjab, and he started going to the villages and saying, I want to make Punjab California, I want to progress Punjab like it has progressed in Germany. But as I said, the contestatory politics of Punjab, which has begun in the 19th century, which Nehru and Kairon called communalist forces, they were contending all the time and trying his patience and his wisdom in that sense. Sometimes what he'll do when they will try to go too far, he will ask the police to arrest them, take them into jungles, and he said, then free them. Let them take days to come back. And then they will realize what they have done, because hunger and tiredness will make them wiser. Don't beat them up so much, because beating makes people difficult. They will come back again. So this is things. So this was the time when demand was put forward separate Haryana, and the central government divided Punjab into 3 zones. One was the zone in which Punjabi will dominate, another zone which it was say Hindi will dominate, and there was a zone which Hindi and Punjabi together. The central government has created these zones, but it was easy to create these zones, but how to demarcate the boundaries of those zones? And that was the most difficult thing. And that was the bone of contention in that way. And the Hindi lobbies, the Arya Samaj, the Jan Sangh, and Save Hindi Samiti, they rejected that. They said it is not permissible. We don't accept what has been done. And they said, we don't agree with this kind of division of Punjab. We want that everywhere Hindi should also be taught if the parents want him. Because Kairon said in the Punjabi zones, everybody have to read Punjabi from school onwards and not Hindi. Hindi will be taught only if there are 40 students asking for Hindi. But Hindi wala said no. The parents who will decide whether the students want to teach in Hindi or in Punjabi, and Hindi cannot be imposed upon us. Can you imagine, and Gill Sahib pointed to this, amidst all this turmoil and with all these pulls and pushes, the man was still believing in the old-fashioned way, and that was to use bureaucracy as the vanguard of development in India. Unlike in other countries where the national movements have taken place, the bureaucracies were dismantled. In India, the bureaucracy was not dismantled. The idea was to conform and bend the bureaucracy to carry forward the developmental agenda of the state, make them more efficient, development-oriented, and Kairon used them to grow more food and to carry forward the Nangal fertilizer plant. And he created something which Gill Sahib should have noted, and what they call flying squads.
Yes.
He sent flying squads from office to office, and he said, please check how many files they have seen and how many files have not been done. And it's very interesting, in one zone of Jalandhar where Gill Sahib was working, the flying squad discovered 1,600 files lying there which nobody has ever touched. Suddenly the bureaucracy was panicky, and they realized that to contend with Kairon Sahib, we cannot relax. We'll have to work hard like him in that sense. And Nehru always stood with him, always supported him in that sense. And then something very interesting happened. In 1958, Master Tara Singh lost the elections of Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, And Kairon thought this was the nice period. And many of the Akalis, they shifted towards the Congress. Many great leaders of the Akalis, they came and joined the Congress. And one thing which happened, Master Tara Singh felt very alienated. But in 1959, there was again SGPC elections in Master Tara Singh was able to win. And he says, my victory is the victory of Punjabi Suba. Now you give me the Suba in that sense. And Kairon said, it is not possible to give you the Suba in that sense. Then the Punjabi Suba agitation started. Jathas began to come from the Gurdwaras and confronting the police and everywhere in that sense. And Kalis created a very interesting situation where all the countryside was agitated in that sense. But Kairon was very sure that he will be able to stress this. He tried to mobilize the peasantry. He asked Punjab Provincial Congress Committee, ministers and MLAs to go to the village and explain to the people. But Kairon was baffled by a certain behavior of the Punjabi peasantry. As Gill Sahib said, Punjabi Jat peasantry, a very peculiar kind of white blackbird, not easy to understand. But he saw this, he says it's very strange. When it comes to developmental thing, the Punjab peasant flock to the Congress, they flock to me, they bring their applications, they give me feedback and they make demand and say, Kairon Sahib, this is to be done, this to be done. He says, and I feel that the entire peasantry is standing by my side. He said, Vakali start their developmental politics. It seems the whole Punjab is now after them. They don't listen to me. They say, no. ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਗਲਤ ਹੈ ਅਕਾਲੀ ਠੀਕ ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸੂਬਾ ਬਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋਲੀ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਤੇ ਸੂਬਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਔਰ ਅਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਭ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਤੇ ਸੂਬਾ ਬਣਿਆ ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੋਲੀ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਤੇ ਸੂਬਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਿਆ ਨਹਿਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਰੜਕਣ ਲੱਗੀ ਨਹਿਰੂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਅਲੱਗ ਕਾਈਂਡ ਆਫ सूबा है इतने हिंदू पॉपुलेशन जो है वो स्क्रिप्ट हिंदी है पर Akalis never agreed. Akalis were under the impression that there is a backing of certain elements in the center to these people. Otherwise, Nehru should impose Punjabi on them. They will also learn Punjabi because they already speak Punjabi. And they झूठ बोल के कह रहे हैं कि पंजाबी भाषा साडी मां बोली नहीं है जब कोई वो सेंसस वाले जांदे और उन्होंने पुछदे तुसी पंजाबी बोलदे हो वो कहते नहीं जी ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ So this was said by this thing and this was a very baffling thing. These two agitation and the third agitation which Kairon tried to handle was and which was a very difficult agitation was launched by the communists in 1959 on Khush-Hasiti tax. Harkishan Singh Surjit. Khush-Hasiti tax was that Planning Commission has recommended to the Punjab government that the Punjab government taken loans from the center and Bhakhra Nangal, it has irrigated huge chunks of land and that land should now has become so fertile that the productivity has gone up and therefore small amount of tax should be paid by the Punjab. But the communists were very much against it and they mobilized and now the Punjab peasantry was after the communists. They said this tax is बिल्कुल ठीक है और पिंडां ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਲ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ ਜੋ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਸਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਲਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਸੱਚਾ ਜਾਂ ਝੂਠਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਕੈਰੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਟੈਕਸ ਲਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਫੋਕਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਬਿਜਲੀ ਕੱਢ ਲਈ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ
ਮੱਖਣ ਕੱਢ ਲਈ
ਸੋ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ Nehru died in 1964. 3 weeks after that, Kairon resigned. He realized that before all these gangs get together and humiliate him, it's better to resign. But even after his resignation, वो कहते ना बुढ़ा होया शेर भी बुलार मारदा वो तो भी लोग डरते ने. And all these politicians, they were after Kairon. His whole courtyard was dug up. It was alleged that there is a gold hidden there and it was dug 3 feet deep to find gold there. And when they failed to find any gold, they said, no, have you dug up 4 feet, then you would have found the gold. His sons were arrested and he was humiliated but the man stood like a rock. He was not demoralized till the end. And when the end came, it came so suddenly. Otherwise, my hunch is, and I'm sure मेरे साथ गिल साहब agree करेंगे, Punjabis would have called him, please come back. Things are not functioning because things refuse to function in that after that. As the time is up, I would have gone into a more broader analysis, but I will stop here. We can ask question and discuss. Thank you very much. And thank you, Gill Saab, for entertaining me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your insights and valuable inputs. First of all, I would like to compliment you for your knowledge of the English language and literature rather. You seem to be really steeped into literature. When you began, I thought maybe you are from a literature background. So it's really commendable that...
I am from literature background. I love Punjabi literature. I came to history later on.
Okay, sir. So that reflects in the way you convey your thoughts to all of us. You did say at the beginning that an academic discussion may be banal and boring, but I think this was a very rewarding discussion. And you gave us an analytical perspective from a distance on the life journey of Sardar Pratap Singh Kairon. You said that this book is more than a biography. It's clear, precise picture of Kairon, his vision, and his efforts to achieve that vision, and how the book also tells us about the socio-political milieu of his time, how he dealt with the various agitations, what was happening during that time. All that is also presented to us along with the life of that one individual. And as you said, I also hope that it motivates several others to write more biographies of MS Randhawa, as you said, to begin with maybe. And that once upon a time thing was really interesting. Once upon a time, we can begin it again. There was a man who toiled without unwavering. Really, that defines the man that Kairon was. And yes, I do agree with you that the book has come at a very important juncture where we need to sit back and think what we have made of Punjab and what probably it would have been had Kairon continued to live for some more time, be with us and work towards its betterment. And it's important that we recognize the good qualities of a person, whether he is from, we agree with him or he is in a rival party, as Nehruji, you said initially, recognized his qualities when, even though he fought from the Akali seat, he could see that this man was a gem that he should have in his own party, perhaps. One thing that Dr. Gill also pointed out, and so you have also pointed out, the mark of a man, that while others were doing factional politics, he was touring villages. He was very fond of meeting people, being with them. And that is, I think, which a different person altogether, who's associated with the people at the grassroots level and who wants to interact with them, know them, and then work towards their betterment. So it was his desire, and it is what made him really great. He worked, he could understand the problems of the underprivileged, and he worked with them. As you pointed out that he went and sat with the Dalits. Similarly, I think he worked for the betterment of women. His family had a school for girls, and then later he himself was associated with the work for women. And so you have also pointed out that his wife, Mrs. Kairon, at one point of time said that I will go to the telephone exchange. And Dr. Gill also pointed out that we must not forget Professor Rajivlochan's wife. This is Meeta Rajivlochan. So I think women should get equal credit, is what Kairon Sahab also agreed with. The book, of course, is a page turner, and you are, you are so fascinated that you want to continue reading. And of course, the Western thought, the Americanized thought process had influence on him, the Americanized as well as the British, as you pointed out, and he used the carrot and stick strategy with his detractors. and equally capable of speaking in the language of the white man, as well as interacting and communicating with the ruralites at their own level in the way they could understand him better and feel that he was like one of them. So I would like to end that I wish that we had more people like him in the chair who could really take India and Punjab forward, and we get to have a state we could really be proud of. We are proud of Punjab today, and I'm sure there would be others like him learning from his work and his biography to move on to make this world and especially Punjab a better place to live in. And I think your talk was very informative, and it enlightened us a lot, and we have had one of the most intellectually stimulating evening today. An incredible session, I feel, on one of the tallest figures of Punjab. And we also have Professor Harish Puri with us. So I would request you to share your thoughts and observations with us as well.
Thank you very much. Actually, let me express my gratitude to Professor Dr. Mahinder Singh for permitting me to join. I thoroughly enjoyed the discussion, read the whole book, and actually I was also one of those who were asking Rajivlochan as to when would the book be completed. We have been waiting for this. It has taken pretty long, but glad it's there now. Actually, when we think of, after what we have heard from Dr. Gill and Professor Bhagwan, there's nothing much left actually, because much has been said. You know, it seems to me that when we are talking of Partap Singh Kairon, we are talking of very different times. And I think Rajivlochan also in the book at least once uses this word. These were very different times. And I recollect now that 56, Kairon Sahab becomes the chief minister. And that is precisely the time when Nehru is talking about the Awadi session and the socialistic pattern of society. And the kind of commitment which Partap Singh Kairon saw in Jawaharlal Nehru, I think became a significant factor. And he saw what was crucial in the stand taken by Jawaharlal Nehru and his way of thinking and his vision for India. And Nehru saw in Partap Singh Kairon that here was a man who in Punjab could really translate that idea into practice. So to me, it seems that the kind of ethics and the idea of personal dignity, which actually you could find even among a lot number of bureaucrats at that time. And if we look to the panchis and sarpanchis also, the IAS officers, there was a certain quality of character, the morality and the ethics of whatever they did, and the people expected from them, and they knew, Partap Singh Kairon knew, for example, that if he works like what Gill Sahab said, you know, stubborn, majhel, jat, taking decisions, doing things, this will be appreciated by people. That he was against communal politics, that he rejected the whole idea of the separate, this language controversy. He fought against corruption and the kind of scary raids he conducted. He knew that people would like it. And that is why Partap Singh Kairon was a very deeply respected. This was a great day. I think there is another dimension which Rajiv and Meeta didn't touch as much. Partap Singh Kairon also was a connoisseur of art and literature. I read at one place Balwant Gargi's small piece, An Evening with Partap Singh Kairon. Such a fascinating the discussion about how this Partap Singh Kairon thinks, how does he act almost 18 hours a day. Right in the morning, along with breakfast, he takes an insulin injection because he had diabetes. At night also, he has to take some tablets, but for 18 hours, bringing phenomenal energy to his task. And this has been appreciated. Men of literature, you know, long time back, I saw a book which Sardar Mubarak Singh at Amritsar. He was very close to Partap Singh Kairon. He had organized, he actually reminiscences and recollections of people who were close to Partap Singh Kairon. And he edited a volume, it was called Andan Granth. It's 1963. This was presented to Sardar Partap Singh Kairon by Mubarak Singh. You find that, you know, people like the great journalist of that time, Durga Das, or Prem Bhatia, and professors like Darshan Singh Maini, Balwant Gargi, and leave aside the politicians. Such great admiration, honest, and of course MS Randhawa kind of people there not only supported him, had a great respect for him and wanted to do whatever they possibly could. I think the whole atmosphere at that point of time, the Partap Singh Kairon, Jawaharlal Nehru, you know, they could create such an environment in which madly working for achieving the objectives, your vision, it became almost a passion and widely respected kind of a passion. So this is one. It comes to my mind that it would have been better if we had also covered Partap Singh Kairon's family life. I think in this book, we have not touched that aspect because part of the allegation against Partap Singh Kairon, that his sons misused power and there was such corruption. We were in Patiala at that point of time in 57, 59. And we used to hear, you know, how a particular cinema hall was being constructed and how this Gurinder and Surinder, they were using, you know, their power. I wish, because Balwant Gargi, for example, tells the kind of relationship at home he had with his wife and the kind of role she played. Her role has to be also, you know, emphasized. She was the great support for Partap Singh Kairon. This is one dimension. एक क्वेश्चन मेरे मन दे विच एक्चुअली बहुत रौनक रहा वो है कि Partap Singh Kairon was by 1947 very active, and I have been recently also looking through oral statements, records of people who witnessed violence in Punjab, and Amritsar area was particularly notorious. And the scale of killings by Punjabis of the Muslims who were going to Pakistan, whereas rehabilitation of refugees, the role played by Partap Singh Kairon has been discussed. I would have liked to learn, you know, what kind of a role Partap Singh Kairon and his friends were playing when this kind of civil war-like a situation, the mob violence, the lynching, and then large-scale killings. Because, regarding Amritsar, long time back I read a book, Jab Amritsar Jal Raha Tha. This was a book written by Khwaja Iftikhar. I think some 10 editions of the book have been published so far. And here you have in Amritsar the stories of variety of people, some of them prominent leaders, both Akalis and Congressmen. And the whole area, Taran Taran, Sarhali, this area, large scale killings of people. More because when I won't name those people, they have two prominent Congressites also. In the oral records, the allegations were made that they were also inciting the crowds. I would have loved to see how the strong Partap Singh Kairon would have intervened. The way we learn about stories of, Jawaharlal Nehru taking a stick and following a crowd when he found that some people were attacking a particular community. Partap Singh Kairon must have played a significant role, but we don't know significant role at that time, but we don't know about it. We would really love that in the next edition, that something we learn about how sensible people, several communists, for example, leaders at that point of time, formed peace committees, much against the Akal Sena, for example. Akal Sena had some of the prominent leaders of the Akali in the Congress. So to me, actually, this was a concern I wanted to look up, whether in this book there is some mention of what role Partap Singh Kairon played. I think I should stop here. Surely he has been referred to as a constructive genius, another Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and all of us are very, very proud, no doubt that, and I was actually in 57, once I attended a meeting where Partap Singh Kairon addressed the meeting. This was at Ambala. UN Devar had come and Lala Achintram was the member of parliament. And perhaps this is a meeting regarding Sarvodaya. And the kind of diction, the manner in which Partap Singh Kairon spoke. And actually, friends tell me, I didn't attend that meeting, the inaugural session of the Punjabi University, Patiala. The people who attended that, they say this is such an unparalleled kind of expression of Punjabi. This man impressed everybody. I was thinking of Gurbakh Singh Preetladi, Professor Preetam Singh, but when I cited their names, they said, "Nay, Harish, you don't know." The manner in which Partap Singh spoke at that time, just unparalleled. These are quite a few things. Actually, just one small correction. It is necessary because it is within quotes. This is Partap Singh Kairon addressing a meeting on Baisakhi Day. This is page 104, where he says 250 years ago, this was the day when Guru Gobind Singh initiated the Khalsa. And on the other hand, on this very day, Michael O'Dwyer had machine gunned a peaceful crowd in Jallianwala Bagh 38 years ago. I think one can take a small error, that it was not O'Dwyer, it was General Dyer, and that they were not machine gunned. But I made it a point because this is given within quotes, because then it's attributed to Partap Singh Kairon. I think this is a very small thing, a small error, but would be good that it's corrected. I think the role he played for strengthening the panchayats is other, because at that point of time, the agriculture extension officers played a tremendously important, and panchayats and sarpanches also. I think this is enough. once again, congratulations, greetings to Rajivlochan, Meeta Lochan, and Gurinder Singh. And thanks also for Dr. Manoj Singh Gill and Professor Bhagwan for enlightening. I thoroughly enjoyed. This was delightful attending this meeting. And thank you, Dr. Mahendra Singh, for permitting me to join this. Thanks a lot.
Before I say a few words of thanks, I would request Dr. Ravel Singh to announce his next program. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Ravel Singh has been very active, sort of friend, secretary of the Punjabi Academy, who used to have big functions together. Now that he's moved to University of Delhi, I think he has a little more time to devote to academics and also to administration. So it's his initiative that we have started this. Dr. Ravel Singh, please say something. Planning in the
Thank you, Prof. First of all, I must congratulate Institute of Punjab Studies, Dr. Mahendra Singh ji, for this thought-provoking session of these high dignitaries. मैं सुन रहा सी जदों मैंने I should must go to Punjabi because I am professor of Punjabi. नाले मैं भगवान जी मैं कहना नहीं चाहता कि मैं पढ़िया लिखिया. डॉक्टर ਜਦੋਂ MS ਗਿੱਲ ਹੋਰੀ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਮੈਸਮਰਾਈਜ਼ਿੰਗ ਸੀ ਉਹ. ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਟਾਕ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਜਾਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ. ਇੱਕ ਲੰਬੀ ਟਾਕ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਗਿੱਲ ਹੋਣਾ ਦੀ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਗਿੱਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਨਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਡੀਕੋਡ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਬੜੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਟਾਕ ਕਰਵਾਈਏ ਜੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੰਨਣ ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਨਕਸ਼ਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਈ ਏਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਕੈਰੋਂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੁਝ ਸਾਲ ਹੋਰ 5-10 ਸਾਲ ਹੋਰ ਜੀਂਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੀ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਵੀ ਹੋਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੀ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਨਹਿਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਜਾਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰਿਜ਼ਾਈਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਬਟ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਰਿਅਲਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਬੁਲਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਔਰ ਕੰਟਰੀਬਿਊਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਔਰ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਸ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਬਾਰੇ ਆ ਔਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਜੋਸ਼ੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗਾ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਰੀਡਰਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਇਟ ਸ਼ੁਡ ਮਸਟ ਬੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਲੇਟਡ ਇਨਟੂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਐਂਡ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਆਲਸੋ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਦੀ ਮਾਸ ਰੀਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਈਚ ਐਂਡ ਐਵਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸ਼ੁਡ ਨੋ ਵਟ ਕੈਰੋਂ ਡਨ for Punjab. So ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ again I congratulate Dr. Mahendra Singh ji and also thankful to all of you who spoke on that on this book. ਜੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਅਗਲਾ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦਾ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹੀ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਣ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਅਤ ਨਾਲ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਾਲ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੀ ਚੁਣੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੋਸਤ ਨੇ ਸੋਸ਼ੀਓਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਪਰਮਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੱਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਵਲ ਬੜਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਆਇਆ ਪੜਤਾਲ ਨਾਵਲ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨਾਵਲ ਤੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਮੰਥ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਔਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 2 ਪੈਨਲਿਸਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚੁਣੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਦਵੇਸ਼ਵਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਹੋਏ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਫਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ TR ਵਿਨੋਦ ਔਰ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਰਾਹੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੋਈ ਫਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਦਵੇਸ਼ਵਰ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਔਰ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੈਨਲਿਸਟ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਨੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਰਬਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਔਰ ਪਰਮਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੱਜ ਹੋਰੀ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਸੋ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਮੰਥ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜੁੜੀਏ ਔਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਨਵਾਂ ਤਜਰਬਾ ਨਾਵਲ ਦਾ ਪਰਮਜੀਤ ਜੱਜ ਹੋਰੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਾਵਲ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਰੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਭਾਈ ਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਮਲ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰਦਿਆਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦਾ ਨਾਵਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪਰਮਜੀਤ ਜੱਜ ਹੋਰੀ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਵੀ 1-2 ਨਾਵਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆਏ ਉਹ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਵਲ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਨੈਰੇਟਿਵ ਦੇ ਨਾਵਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਨਾਵਲ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੋਸਤ, ਉਹ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਮੰਥ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਟਾਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਣ। ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ।
ਮੈਂ 2 ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੈਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ, Kairon had a dream, but he was fortunate that he had a prime minister called Jawaharlal Nehru who also had a dream. I mean, normally it doesn't happen. About this institute, I had a dream, but I'm lucky I have a chairman called Dr. Manmohan Singh. For the last 30 years, he hasn't interfered. When I was talking about this, he says, Gill aa jayega? मैं क्या आएगा? कहते गिल नो कंट्रोल किवें करेगा? गिल साहब सुन नहीं रहे। तो गिल साहब ने मैं कहा जी वेलकम, तो 20 मिनट बोलना, कहते ठीक है इशारा कर देंगे। गल हुई हैगी MS Randhawa. Surely he deserves a very good biography. And also another man called
पंजाबी पंजाबी बायोग्राफी आ गई है।
मेरी प्रॉब्लम है ना
पंजाबी
anyway, another man who deserves equally good biography is Sardar Sadan Singh. I mean, imagine the stature of the man, the vision of the man. He was chairman of our institute. एक दिन बड़ी जिद करता, बड़े प्यार दे मूड चंगे सी, जिद कर ली मैं कहा सार साहब मेमोर रिकॉर्ड करा दो। नहीं काका नहीं करना। एक इंसीडेंट दसी जी नरेट नहीं कर सकता। कहना मैं नेहरू ने कहा कि हैंडल करो, आ रहा है पुट्टो। कहना हैंडल करो तो मतलब समझता, मैं आज समझना। कहना फिर हैंडल करता मैं। नेक्स्ट उन्हें कहनी स्टील मिनिस्टर नहीं, कल तो हैगा फॉरेन मिनिस्टर। कहना आई कांट रिकॉर्ड दिस। चला गया। सो मैं चाहांगा कि ਅਸੀਂ कोशिश करिए कि 2 बायोग्राफी जरूर होਣ। ज़्यादा होण चंगी गल है, पंजाबियों ने बड़ा नामना कढ़िया। रंधावा अगेन मैसिव मैन। अगली सानू आई थिंक थैंक्स करना चाहिए सानू माधुरी चावला का, जिन्हें मान लिया शॉर्ट नोटिस से कोआर्डिनेट करने लई, किताब पढ़नी पई उन्होंने। MS Gill, a discussion was done on his initiative, and the Minder Singh, वो किताब बड़ी चंगी है डिस्कशन का। मैं नहीं बड़ी पहला पढ़ लेंगे, बड़ी अजीब जी गल, डर लगता है ना तो क्या किताब पढ़ लेंगे। अच्छा लकली फॉर्चुनेट कि उन्होंने गल कहनी भी आती है ना, सारे पढ़ते सारे है ना, लेकिन गल कहने का तरीका इन्होंने सुन लगे तो बोर नहीं होंगे, भावें घंटे तो बधी जाए। साड़ी लिमिटेशन की टाइम करके आस करेंगे असी एक शायद एक कोरोना शायद खत्म हो जाए, कमजोर हो जाए, असी पूरा लेक्चर करावांगे कैरो साहब से गिल साहब तो दैट इज। अच्छा दूसरा मेरे ख्याल सुन रहे होंगे राजीवलोचन से मीता जी। आई एम श्योर they will admire the input that has come from Gill Sahab, Bhagwan Josh and Puri Sahab, and he'll include this in his next edition and also try to get it Punjabi version. Thank you very much again. Gill Sahab, thank you very much. Professor Josh, Professor Puri. Deal with Professor Puri was that he'll join, he will not speak. I'm glad he has been able to. And Madhuri Chawla and Ravil Singh, of course. He's a host. I don't think I need to thank him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.